Advaitam Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambhitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Southern Division. We have been discussing the overviews of Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vyabhicāri Bhav. Before we begin the discussion on verse by verse to Stahi Bhav. And we are on the overview of Vyabhicāri Bhav. So within the Vyabhicāri Bhav, we saw the definition of Vyabhicāri Bhav from Jaiva Dharma of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then we went into Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And after defining it, then there are these 33 Vyabhicāri Bhavs, which we saw. And based on these 33 Vyabhicāri Bhavs, Rupa Goswami starts defining each one of them, Nirveda, and then self-disgust due to great sorrow, Maha-arti, separation, and hatred, worrying about doing what should not be done, should not doing what should be done. This is called as Nirveda. And then what are the things which happen? Chinta, tears, Vaivarnya, Dainya, Niswasa, Sitadya, Adaya. So all these, are the Anubhavas, or sometimes they can be uh, Satviki Bhavas. These are the transformations which can happen. Now, that is why I mentioned, if you remember, each of these, Nirved because of Maharati, Nirved because of Viprayoga, Nirved because of Arsha, Nirved because of Sadvivekadi Kalpitam. So, for each, he gives scriptural references, and that's what is the major portion. We saw around 175 verses or something. So, we just took one verse and discussed. Then causes and effects of Vyabhichari Bhavs. So this is what we were discussing. Causes and effects of Vyabhichari Bhav. We discussed among the Vyabhichari Bhavs, some act as cause, Vibhav, and others act as effect, Anubhav. Like, how the Vyabhichari manifest, you see Mother Yashoda sees Krishna in the coils. So there is a Vyabhichari Bhav which will manifest. Her Vatsalya Bhav now goes to an height and she starts, crying in lamentation, raises her hands. So all these Vyabhicāri bhavs of deep separation due to distress can be caused by vibhav, and some can act as anubhavas. So she starts crying and lifting her arms up. So these are all anubhavas happening because of the Vyabhicāri bhavs. So this is what in the last class we discussed. And we discussed how Irsha is the cause of Nirved, and the effect is envy. And then we discussed also, if you remember, Chinta is the effect of impatience, Autsukya, and the cause of sleep, you know, cause of sleep. So in this way, the Vyabhicāri bhavs act mutually as anubhavas, actions as effects, because it is an effect that Mother Yashoda is raising her arms up and about to give her body also. So these are actions she's doing there, and then there can be vibhavs, actions as cause. And seeing the cause was that action happened because of seeing Krishna in the coils. So this is what we had also last time discussed, if you remember. And then I had taken this verse. The causes of effects of Vyabhichari Bhav, Sattvic Bhavanas, and the various other emotions should be understood to be similar to situations in the material world. So this is where we had completed our discussion. So now let's go to the other verses. Now, again, I would like to mention here that Rup Goswami goes on to explain how among the 33 Vyabhichari bhavs, he gives some more examples. Criticism, nindatu, or other actions, vibhavatam, are considered matam, the cause of change of color, satviki bhav, vaivarnya, and amarsha, indignation, amarshayur, and the effect of envy, anusoyam punastasya katayita anubhavata. So criticism, ninda, and or other actions. Criticism is an action. So it is, are considered the cause of change of color. Yeah, when you become very angry and start criticizing, your body color can change. And then, uh, and it can cause a Vyabhichari of amarsha, indignation. And the effect can be that envy, that deep-rooted envy is that, and that's why you're criticizing, right? So like that, what is the cause and what are the effects? Some more examples he gives. Beating is the cause. Praharasya vibhavatam, moha. The Vyabhichari called moha. And pralaya, satviki bhav. Pralaya means one collapses, you know. So that is a satviki bhav. It is also the effect of agra, ferocity. Ferocity is again a Vyabhichari bhav, agra. Other states should be understood similarly. So similarly, if you have understood that first verse, then all these are the same examples. When a person is envious or defamed, there may be change in the color of the body, Prabhupada says. This may be classified as vibhav or sub-ecstasy. Sometimes illusion, collapse, and strong anxiety are also considered to be vibhav. So, moha. There are many such symptoms. They can simply be grouped together under ecstatic love. That's it. Then further again he gives example. The Vyabhichari bhavs of Tras, Nidra, Shama, Alas, Mada arising from intoxication, Madabid, and Bodh. Somewhat are effects of Rati, Bhaved Rati Anubhavata. So these Vyabhichari nouns, Trasa, Nidra, Shama, Alasa, and Mada, and Bodh, somewhat are effects of Rati. Madabit means the particular mad, mada, rapture arising of intoxication. Ratya Anubhavata means being the effects of Rati. So when you are under the effect of rati, you can become intoxicated. Again, intoxication is not the material intoxication. It's and even bodha also like that. Then साक्षादरतेर्न संबंध षड्भिः त्रासादिभिः स्यात् परस्पराय किंतु लीला अनुगुणा गुणता कृते. Rati has no direct relationship. Sakshat Rati na sambandha with the six Vyabhicāri bhavs just mentioned. So these six Vyabhicāri bhavs, you know, uh, this is what is being mentioned. These six Vyabhichari bhavs, they act as effects of Rati is mentioned. But here it says, just mentioned, Rati has no direct relationship. Rati has a relationship with them only because Syat Parasya Paraya Kintu, they support Rati for encouraging pastimes. Leela Anu Gunata Krite. So actually, Rati has no direct relationship because they support, and that's why they are, for encouraging pastime. So that's why that is what is being clarified now about these. Hmm. So this is what Rupa Goswami states. The six bhavas just mentioned never arise in relationship to Krishna in those possessing Rati, since he is experienced only through the pleasant nature in the Rati. They arise through obstacles in their rati being experienced by the devotees in those conditions alone. They arise through obstacles to their rati. So, like fainting out of madness, because of separation from Krishna, and one becomes mad. So, this one example, nidra, shama, or alasya. You don't want to do anything after the gopis were feeling when Krishna left, they were not doing, they're not able to do their household chores. So like that, in those conditions. Harsha and other positive emotions arise with Krishna as a direct cause, vibhav. Seeing Krishna, we become very harshit. Tras, etc. do not arise in this way. Thus, the verse states that there is no relationship with direct rati directly in the manifestation of these six Vyabhichari bhavs, since they arise only when they are obstacles to rati. So, when there are obstacles to rati, these emotions arise. But they will have a relationship with rati in the sense that they mix together with rati, parasparaya, since these bhavas arise when there are obstacles to rati. So, these bhavas arise. These emotions arise when there are obstacles to rati. Mention of the six Vyabhichari bhavs should also include other Vyabhichari bhavs such as fear. These occur only when there are acts such as offense against the Lord. Okay, Rupa Prabhupada just doesn't go much into it. And then he speaks about others. Vitarkamati nirveda dhritinam smriti harshayo bodhabidhainya suptinam kvachitrati vibhavata. Vitarka mati nirveda dhriti smriti harsha, and the type of abodh arising from destruction of ignorance, bodhabidhainya suptinam, becomes somewhat the cause of rati. Kvachit rati vibhavata. So they become the cause of rati. Vitarka becomes the cause of rati. Mati becomes cause of rati. Nirved also can become a cause of dhriti also. Smriti also, and then harsha. They become the cause of rati. Now here I am quoting, this is not part of Rupa Goswami's verse. I'm just quoting this verse. Bhakti purve shritatam tu rasam pashyedyatatadhi Tam naumi satatam rupa nama priya janam harehe. Though there are others who in the past have taken up to the path of devotional service to the Lord. Purve tam bhakti shrutatu. I pay my continual obeisances. Tam satatam naumi. To Srila Rupa Goswami, who is dearmost to the Lord. Rupa Nama Hare Priyajanam. By his mercy, humanity has received the intelligence, Yad Attadi, to see all rasas, relationship with the Lord, revealed by bhakti, devotion to the Lord. Rasam Pashit. So, all this we can see how Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is going into such a deep science of the emotions and as rasa, bhakti is as rasa. This is what Rupa Goswami has given, and that's why we should study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu very carefully. Okay, bodhabit means particular bodh arising from destruction of ignorance, because avidya is destroyed, and avidya is destroyed at the end of asakti, for your kind information. So that becomes the cause of rati. It becomes the cause of attaining bhava. These are said to be the cause of rati, somewhat, kvachit. It should be understood from this that rati and these Vyabhicāri bhavs mutually act upon each other. So they act upon each other. They are said to be the cause of rati because they cause further appreciation of Krishna. They stimulate rati because rati is permanent and is not caused. So rati is a nitya siddha Krishna prema, kabu sadhanaya. There is there, but it has, the potency is there, but it has to be revived. Just like in the bulb, the bulb has the potency to illuminate light, but it has to be connected through the wire and a switch. The wood has the potency to burn. Latent fire is there within the wood, but it has to be lit by another, it has to be kindled by another fire. So similar is that. Okay. So I hope you are able to get this point, right? So that's Prabhupada also mentions the same thing. Now I'm going to go to the types of Vyabhicāri bhavs. Okay, let's go to the types of Vyabhicāri bhavs. Now we discussed definition, 33 Vyabhicāri bhavs, examples, only one we have discussed in our overview, causes and effects of Vyabhicāri bhavs. Now types of Vyabhicāri bhavs, Paratantra, dependent on Rati in a devotee. And in that there is Vara, superior, because it is related to primary Rati. And if it is related to secondary rati, it is called as Vyavahita. Secondary rati means the seven gaun rasas, and primary rati means the mukhya rasas. And inferior is avara, caused by a rati not related to Krishna in a devotee. And then there is swatantra, indirect relation to rati in devotees. There is an indirect relation, whereas this is dependent on rati. And in that there is vara, sakshat, Vyavahita and Avara. And then in Swatantra, there is indirect relation to Rati in devotees. There is Rati Shunya, Rati Anusparshana, Rati Gandha. In impure devotees with Chaya Rati, in the devotees with genuine Rati not related to Krishna, in devotees with Rati indirectly related to Krishna. So we'll see each of them now. Here I've put it in the chart. Paratantra, Swatantra. In this there is Vara, Avara, superior, inferior. And in that Sakshat related to primary Rati, that is Shant, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, and related to the seven Gaun Ratis. And Avara is very simple. There is uh, inferior caused by Rati not related to Krishna in a devotee. Of course, the three Rati Shunya, Rati Anusparshina, and what is it, Rati Gandha, I have not mentioned here because we are going to now discuss this. Okay. Paratantra, Swatantraश्चैत्य, Ukta, Sancharino Dvidha. The Vyabhicāri bhavs may be either dependent, Paratantraha, and independent, Swatantraश्चैति Ukta. However, the inferior dependent Vyabhicāri bhav arises from a rati which is neither primary nor secondary. So the inferior or the dependent, arises which is neither from primary or secondary. The dependent Vyabhicāri bhavs are under the control of Mukhya and Gaun ratis. So dependent is Paratantra. Don't get confused here. Huh? The Swatantra is independent and dependent is Paratantra. Now the Vyabhichari Bhav is dependent on Rati and the Vyabhichari Bhav is independent of Rati. So that's the understanding you should have. So the dependent Vyabhichari Bhavs are under control of Mukhya and Gaun Ratis. The independent ones are not under the control of Rati. So that's what I made it clear. Okay, Tatra Paratantraha. वरावरतया प्रोक्ताः परतंत्र अपि द्विधा. The dependent Vyabhichari bhavs, paratantra api dvidha, are either superior or inferior. Vara, avara. Vara means best and avara means inferior. Now, tatra varaha. साक्षाद् व्यवहिताश्चेति वरोपि एष Vidodita. The superior dependent Vyabhichari bhavs are Varo Appi Esha Dvidodita, either direct or indirect. When it is from Mukhya it is direct, and from Gaun it is indirect. Okay. So now I will at here again insert this chart so that you have a clear understanding. So I'll take this out. This has to. Yes. So now you can see, okay, I'm just going to the Paratantra, Vara, Avara, and within Vara, there is Sakshat. So now he is going to define, oh, where did it? Yeah, sorry. Tatra Sakshat, yes. So now he is going to define Sakshat. Sakshat is within Vara and Paratantra. You have to remember that. That superior Vyabhichari Bhav, Mukhyam Eva, which nourishes Pushan, a primary Rati, Ratim, is called direct, superior, independent Vyabhichari Bhav. Sakshad iti abhidiyate. It is direct, Sakshat. It is superior. Superior is Paratantra. Superior is Vara. And dependent is Paratantra, Vyabhichari Bhav. Sakshat Vara Paratantra Vyabhichari Bhav. I hope you get the connection. Sakshat Vara Paratantra Vyabhichari Bhav. Like that. Okay. It should be understood that if the Vyabhichari Bhavs become a component of primary or secondary rasas, nourishes the rasa, it is called Vara dependent Vyabhichari Bhav. Verse 213 describes the inferior, Avara, dependent Vyabhichari Bhav in the opposite way. 213. Okay, 213 will come up later on. Now he gives the example. This example will make it clear for you. What is the use of eyes? Vrithena kim hanta drishor dvayena, which do not see Mathura. Apashato Mathura mandalam tat. Hearing Nishamya, whose name, Nama Yasya, my hairs, Tanoti may stand on end. Tanu Ruhali Chatanushcha Nrityam. So here you can see there is an emotion which I don't know. Let's see. The desire to see Mathura is an expression of a genuine principal rati for the Lord. The Vyabhicāri bhav of nirved self-deprecation nourishes the rati directly. So there is a genuine rati. And if you cannot see Mathura, then what is the use of having these eyes? You know? So there is genuine rati, and that's why she is feeling this Vyabhicāri bhav of nirved. One devotee exclaimed, "Oh, I cannot see the district of Mathura, even though by simply hearing the name Mathura, the hairs on my body are standing up. I cannot see the place. So what is the use of my eyes?" So you can see just hearing the name of Mathura, hairs are standing on end. That means this devotee has rati for Krishna and Mathura because hairs are standing and he is not able to see Mathura. So he says, what is the use of having these eyes? So that emotion of Vyabhichari bhav, of what is the use of self-deprecation, it is, superior because it is related to Rati directly, and it is Paratantra, and within that, it is Sakshat. Okay. This statement releases a strong anxiety to see the Vishwama, resulting in a strong attachment to Krishna. Ata Vyavahita. Ushnatiyoratim gaunam savyavahito mata. That superior is vara, dependent is paratantra, vyabhichari bhav, which nourishes pushnati. A secondary rati, gaunim ratim, is called indirect vyavahita, superior, dependent vyabhichari bhav. So now there is sakshat and then there is vyavahita. Vyavahita vara paratantra vyabhichari bhav. I hope again you're able to get this. Again, I'll go to the chart here. Vyavahita vara paratantra vyabhichari bhav. This is how you have to understand it. Okay. Example. I am Bhima. How unfortunate are my two arms. Digastu me bhuja dvandam. Strong as iron beams. Pari gho pa mam. If they cannot crush, yad pishnanti na, the evil Shashupal, Dushtam Chedipam, the enemy of Krishna, Madhavaksha P Nam. So Bhima is getting angry that if my arms cannot crush this, arms which are like iron, which cannot crush this Shishupal, who is the enemy of Krishna, what is the use of these arms, how unfortunate. So the emotion he's expressing, it is because he has rati for Krishna, but that emotion, Vyabhichari Bhav, is because of Gaun Rasa. Indaba was Nirveda, self-deprecation. So he's, how unfortunate are my arms, which are like strong, if they are not carried. So this is the Nirveda, under the control of the secondary rati of anger, krodha vashyatvat. Thus it is called indirect, Vyavahita. So I hope you understood. Krodh means Krodharati. This Stahi Bhav produces a secondary rasa of Krodh. The Stahi Bhav, Bhima and Krishna are in, the Sakya rasa and Dasya. So it's producing Raudra. Thus the Rati is considered secondary. So again, Prabhupada gives the same example. So in this instance, Bhima became angry, and being influenced by such anger, his hopelessness became a cause of strong attachment to Krishna. This instance can be described as strong attachment for Krishna in anger. Atha avara. Okay, if you have any questions about this first part now, you are free to raise your hands and we can take up questions. Anything about the first part, is it clear or not clear? Vyabhicāri bhav, paratantra, vara, sakshat, and vyavahita. We saw both sakshat, vyavahita, and both the examples also we saw. Anything, any clarifications anyone has about this? Okay, Priya Mataji has a question. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvad Pranam. Um, it's written the Sthai Bhav produces the secondary rasa of Rodra. So, Sthai Bhav also produces the primary rasa, is it?
Yes, the Ahibhav also is primary rasas.
Okay, that's the base.
Well, that's the base, yeah. Mm. And there are these 12, and the first 5 are called as Mukhya. The second 7 are called as Gaun. The Mukhya has to be there. The Mukhya, like simple in this world, also you see the mother has love for the child, and somebody starts, troubling your child. Immediately the mother will get angry. So that anger emotion is arising from the stahi bhav, which the mother has in relation to the child. So similar like that. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to the you know avara. Avara means inferior, not superior. Rasa dvayasyaapya angatvam agachan avaromata. When the Vyabhicāri bhav is not a component, angatvam, agachan, of either a primary or a secondary rasa, does not nourish the rasa, rasa dvayasyapi, it is called inferior, dependent Vyabhicāri bhav. It's called inferior, avaram mata. Now we are now discussing, for your kind information, this one, avara, caused by an rati, not related to Krishna and a devotee. So Rupa Goswami has defined now, when it is not a component, we saw that anger, that Vyabhichari bhav, self-deprecation, sorry, self-deprecation was a Vyabhichari bhav. And what is the use of my arms? And it is arising from anger rati. But it is related to Krishna, because Krishna is Shishupal is the enemy of Krishna. And he's not able to. Shishupal was criticizing Krishna there in the Rajasuya. And Krishna had just, told everyone not to do anything. Otherwise, Bhima was ready to kill, and he's cursing his hands now, in self-deprecation. What is the point of having these strong arms? You know, so there the Vyabhichari bhav was a component of, the primary rasa, as well as, we saw the example. It was here for Bhima, it was secondary rasa. You know, So when the Vyabhichari bhava is not a component of either primary or secondary, then it is called as inferior or dependent Vyabhichari bhava. Let's take an example. When Arjuna, Jishnu, saw the universal form of Krishna, Aveksha Krishnam Vritti Vishwarupam, which was crushing the heads of the living entities, Leliyamanam Vadaner Jwaladibir, in the universe, Jaganti, with its teeth situated in its shining mouths, Damshra Sputat Uttamange. The Damshra were shining Uttamange. Uttamanga means the head, The head, in the head only we have the mouth where the teeth. His mouth became dry, Vishushyan, and he forgot himself. Na swam smarti sma. Now here you see Jishnu refers to Arjuna. Okay, that's it, it is mentioned. Now I think he clarifies now. Okay. Uncontrollable fear appeared. Durvar, Durvara, Durvara vi bhut Bhitir. From Arjuna experiencing the frightful actions of the universal form. Ghora Kridadya Anubhavat. So uncontrollable fear is a Vyabhicāri bhav. Arjuna is experiencing, seeing the universal form. This covers the rati of Arjuna. Achadya Sahajam Ratim. So Arjuna has natural Sakya friendship. And now seeing the universal form, there is uncontrollable fear. So this Vyabhichari bhav of uncontrollable fear is now not related to Krishna either in primary or secondary rasa. So that's why this is classified as avara. The Vyabhichari form of moha is under the control of fear, which is not a secondary rata. Bhi vayas tata. So the moha in this illusion, he's forgotten his relationship with Krishna and he's asking the Vishwarup, who are you? So from seeing terrifying form of the Lord with which he was unfamiliar, Arjuna simply had fear that the universal form would devour the whole world. This is not Bhayarati. This is not Bhayarati. Note, the fear is not related to the Lord, whereas when the cowherd men fear that Krishna may be harmed by the forest fire, that fear is considered genuine Bhayarati. So this is Bhayarati, the emotions of Vyabhichari Bhav they are, because they are related to the universal form, which Arjuna doesn't have, any mukhya, any relationship like that. Similarly, the anger of Bhishma in 211 is considered genuine Kurodarati because the anger is related to insults made to Krishna. So there is relation. Because Shishupal is insulting Krishna and he's becoming angry. I gave the example of the mother and child. So the fear here, emotion which he's experiencing, is not related to Lord. So this is a subtle difference. O mighty armed ones, seeing this great form with many thousands of eyes, many arms, thighs, and feet, many stomachs, fearful with many teeth, the world is filled with terror. So that's what he says in 11.23. From this statement, it is understood that it is not Rati. This is not coming from Rati. However, the following description is different. O controller of senses, rightly, the world rejoices and becomes attracted to you by the celebrated form. So now, from the universal form, Krishna has come back to the two-handed form. Now he is expressing, his harsha. You know, his harsha now is a Vyabhichari bhav, but it is because of genuine rati. He has sakyaras. Thus, Arjuna's resulting moha is not a part of secondary rati. Therefore, it is considered as inferior. Yes, Vinita Mataji.
Um, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, could you please explain that difference once more? Because I want to understand that the universal form, the fear towards it is not genuine rati, but the fear towards or the love towards Krishna is genuine rati. This is what you were trying to say.
No, 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 no. I was not trying to say that.
Okay.
It's a little difficult for us who have, you know, uh, you have to understand here from
Mm.
seeing terrifying form of the Lord, which he was unfamiliar. Seeing this universal form, he had no relation with the universal form. He has relation with Krishna. Now Krishna has expanded into the universal and he's not able to relate with him. And he's asking actually, who are you? And seeing this form now, he's in fear that this universal
Okay.
form is going to devour the whole world. So this
Okay.
is what is happening to Arjuna, and that is why this uncontrollable fear which Arjuna is experiencing from these actions, this is covering Arjuna's rati, and that's why the Vyabhichari
Oh,
Bhav, Moha, he is under the
okay.
Vyabhichari of Moha, is under the control of fear. It's under the control of fear, and that's why this is not a secondary rati. Otherwise, Bibhatsa is there, a secondary rati. But this is under moha because he's not able to recognize who is this universal form. He's come under the illusion, moha. So that's what it's being explained. That's why it is that it is not from Rati. That's it. Prabhupada makes it still more clear. When Arjuna witnessed the universal form Krishna, whose dazzling teeth were practically devouring the very existence of him, Arjuna's mouth became dried up. At that time, Arjuna forgot himself and could not understand what he was. Forgot, could not understand that he was Arjuna, Krishna's friend. He forgot that. See, I mentioned you. Although he was always dependent on Krishna's mercy. This is an incidence of example of inferior dependence. Avara, that Rati is experienced. Sometimes ghastly activities also support strong ecstatic love for Krishna. This state of mind is called ecstatic fearfulness under illusion, under moha. Fearfulness. He's fear because of illusion and he's forgotten his relationship with Krishna. And now he's not seeing this universal form and he's going through this. Okay. So that completes the discussion on, yes, Bir Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandatana. Prabhu, this uh, moha arising to Arjuna, is it the influence of material, I mean, Maya Devi, or how it is from?
No, this is by Krishna's arrangement directly. It is by Krishna's arrangement. So, but the rasa, the rasa of now fear which he's experiencing, it's because of moha, the Vyabhicāri bhav. So that emotion what he's experiencing, it is rasa, but that is not related to, Krishna, neither in the primary or secondary. So that's the point.
Right.
Okay, again we'll come to the child and the mother example. The mother sees a child is playing and somebody comes and starts troubling. The child will, and the mother will get immediately angry, and she'll feel this Vyabhicāri bhavs, of, she might experience, disgust or some other emotion, nirveda. How can you do that, How dare you do that? Something like that, all these Vyabhichari bhavs. Again, it is expression of anger, but it is related to the child in Gaun Rasa. But that same child, he dresses up himself in a drama and, uh, and now he's playing the role. The mother is sitting in among the audience and seeing the drama, and the mother is not able to uh, understand that it is her own child who is playing this role now because he is wearing a costume. She's not able to recognize. And this child is again going through some trouble. And she's feeling the disgust. And she's experiencing this emotion. So now when she's experiencing the emotion, that is not in relation to either Mukhi or Gauna. Because it is, because he's wearing a costume, he's covered. So similarly, Arjuna's relationship with Krishna was covered when he showed the universal form. And that's why, because of that moha, he experiences fear. Okay, I hope it's clear now. I think this makes it more clear. Bir Krishnaji, are you clear about this?
Yes.
Yeah. Priya Mataji, does it make it more clear to you also
Prab-
now?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear. You have very nicely explained. Since the emotion is covered due to the dress, so in case of Arjuna, it is covered due to what? Fear. Like the dress is what to wear.
No, I've explained the child who was playing the drama and he is having costumes and mother is not able to recognize, oh, this boy who is playing the role is my son. She doesn't know that relationship, and but anyone, some participant is going through a particular distress and she's experiencing those emotions. So they are not related to now the child. So that's why those Vyabhichari bhavs will be classified as avara, inferior, not superior. Arjuna's relationship with Krishna is now covered, and he is experiencing fear because of moha. That's why it is called as avara. Okay? Is it okay? Fine. Just give me half a minute. There is some emergency which has come up. Let's continue. So now we'll see, we have seen now Paratantra, we'll see Swatantra, indirect relation to Rati in devotees. Okay. This is Rati Shunya in impure devotees with Chaya Rati. This is Rati Anusparshana in the devotees with genuine Rati, not related to Krishna. Rati Gandha in devotees with Rati, indirectly related to Krishna. Now again there are fine subtleties to this. So let's try to clearly understand this. Okay. So now we are coming to B part. Swatantra, indirect relation to Krishna and devotees, Rati Shunya, Rati Anusparshana, and Rati Gandha. अतः स्वतंत्र सदैव परातंत्रेऽपि क्वचित् एषां स्वतंत्रता भूपाल सेवकस्यैव प्रवृत्तस्य कर ग्रहे. Though all the Vyabhicāri bhavas are dependent to some degree, Sadaiva Paratantrapi Kvachit, they manifest some independence, Esham Swatantrata. Though the employees of the king are dependent on the king, Bhupala Sevaka Seva, at the time of collecting the king's taxes or during marriages, they show independence from the king. Pravrittasya Kara Grahe. So, this is first important principle regarding, before explaining about Swatantra, Vyabhicāri bhavs. Rupa Goswami is making clear that there is some degree dependence of Vyabhicāri bhavs, and they sometimes manifest independence. And the example is like the king employees are always dependent on the king, but at some time, while collecting taxes, they themselves act as kings. Or during marriage, they show little independence from the king. So like that. Okay. Those knowledgeable of Rati, Bhavagye, divide the independent Vyabhicāri bhavas, Swatantra Parikirtita, into three types. Tredha. Devoid of genuine Rati, Rati Shunyas, influenced by genuine Rati, Cha Ratya Anusparshas Tata, and having a trace of Rati, Rati Gandhas Cha. Okay. Among the independent Vyabhicāri bhavs, independence is manifested clearly in the first type, being devoid of Rati. So in the first type, it is mentioned, devoid of genuine Rati Shunyas. The independence is more in that. In the other two types of independent Vyabhicāri bhavs, a touch of Rati or a contact with Rati, Gandha. Like, you smell a flower, you don't touch the flower. But just being nearby, you can smell. So similarly, you come in contact with it. So sparsha is touch direct. There's physical, but in Gandha, that's why that Rati Gandha has been used term. You don't contact actually, but still there is some kind of independence. The same term independence is applied. However, they are somewhat dependent, and this is expressed by the word kvachit, somewhat, in verse 216. So in verse 216, there is somewhat, it was mentioned. Karagraha means marriage or receiving taxes. There will be more involvement of the son-in-law than the king at the time of marriage, because he has to take care of the needs of the son-in-law. So the king, the employee is more involved with the son-in-law than with the king at the time of marriage. And that's why, he exhibits that independence. And I mentioned for tax collecting, but how for marriage, I was not clear. But here, Jiva Goswami is related. Rati Shunya Vyabhicāri Bhav is the most independent. It is equivalent to Ratya Bhas Bhav Satviki Bhav. So we have studied this. Ratya Abhas. It is Abhas Bhav Satviki Bhav. Just the Abhas of it, we feel. Rati Anusparshena Vyabhicāri Bhav is equivalent to Digd Satviki Bhav. And okay, that's what he mentions. Anusparshana and Rati Shunya. And again, we have studied this Satviki Bhavas, Snigdha, Digdha, Ruksha, and then Abhas, Satviki Bhavas. In that, we had studied this different, if you remember. Tatra Rati Shunya. Let's see Rati Shunya, Jivan of Rati Shunya. It will become clear. When Vyabhichari bhavs are displayed in a person devoid of genuine Rati, Janeshu Rati Shunyeshu Rati Shunya Bhavet Aso, but not inimical to Krishna, it is called Rati Shunya Swatantra Vyabhichari Bhav. Atra Swatantra Nirvedo Yata Shri Dashame. So the example, independent self-deprecation. Nirveda only is being explained from the 10th canto. To hell with this threefold birth, Dig Janma Nas Tridan Vidyam. Our vow of celibacy, Dig Vratam, and our extensive learning, Dig Bahu Gyatam. To hell with our aristocratic backward, Dig Kulam, and our expertise in the rituals of sacrifice, Dig Kriya, Diksham. These are all condemned because we are inimical to the transcendental personality of Godhead. Vimukhya yetu adokshaje. Now here, who is speaking these verses? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Any idea you have? This is from the 10th canto, chapter 23. Any idea who is speaking this? Any idea? Any guess? Any guess anyone has about this? Veer Krishna Prabhuji, yes. Okay, Shubha Ikshan Krishna Prabhuji is raised his hands. Yes, Shubha Ikshan Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, the Brahmanas who were doing the sacrifice and the,
Yes. They did not have any rati for the Lord, but their wives had, and they attained the Lord. And after they came back, they were in self-disgust speaking these words. The Vyabhichari Bhav Nirved is called independent because it is devoid of real rati for Krishna. The Brahmans did not have rati for Krishna, but rati chaya. Just as Ratyabhas gives rise to an apparent Satviki Bhav, it gives rise to apparent Vyabhichari Bhav. So they had just chaya because wives had rati and because husbands were connected to wives. So in that sense, this is independent, the self-deprecation. But somehow there is little connection, but it is more showing independence, this one. Prabhupada. In the 10th canto, 23rd chapter, verse 40 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, following statement of the Brahmanas, same statement Prabhupada speaks. The Brahmanas thus began to condemn their own activities. They realized that in spite of being so elevated by birth, education, they were still under the spell of illusionary energy. They also admitted that even great yogis who are not devotees of the Lord are covered by the influence of material energy. This kind of hopelessness felt by the Brahmanas who were performing ritualistic ceremonies shows practically no attachment for Krishna. So they had no rati for Krishna. Now, rati anu sparshana. Tatra ratya anusparshana. यह स्वतो रतिगन्धेन विहीनोऽपि प्रसङ्गत पश्चाद् रतिं स्पर्शेत् एष रति अनुस्पर्शनो मत. When a Vyabhichari Bhav appears spontaneously, यह स्वतो रतिगन्धेन, but devoid of even rati gandha, vihinopi prasangata, the third type of independent Vyabhichari Bhava having genuine rati as an indirect cause, but is related to a genuine rati because the experience has permanent genuine rati. Paschad ratim sparshed, it is called rati anusparshena swatantra Vyabhichari Bhav. Okay, to understand this, Let's go to the example. Yatha. Hearing the roaring of a terrifying bull demon, Garishta Arishta Tankarer. Tanka means the roar. The cowherd boys became fearful, vidura, and almost deaf because of the loud sound. They began to shout, Krishna, please save us. Ha Krishna, pahi pahi. Now here you can see uh, the the cowherd boys became fearful seeing the bull and they shouted for Krishna. They have genuine riti for Krishna, please remember that. But this emotion is not directly related to Krishna. That's why it is mentioned when a Vyabhicāri bhava appears spontaneously, but devoid of even genuine rati, even rati gandha, you know. But it is related to a genuine rati because the experiences has a permanent genuine rati. So the boyhood boys have a permanent genuine rati. But it is devoid of rati gandha, and that is why this is defined as rati anusparshana swatantra Vyabhicāri bhava. So devoid of rati gandha, when we see rati gandha, we'll understand it more. Okay. It has been previously said in 216 that even the independent Vyabhicāri bhavas are always dependent to some degree on riti. Yes, this was best first of all said. But in verse 220, rati anusparshana is described as being devoid of even genuine rati gandha. And of course, rati shunya in verse 218 was described as being completely devoid of rati. So rati shunya is completely devoid of rati. But here it is mentioned it is devoid of rati gandha also. In order to remove the contradiction, an example is given in this verse. Because they were cowherd boys of Raja, they had genuine rati at all times, yes. All of their Vyabhicāri vows were dependent upon their real rati for Krishna. However, the terrifying sight of the bull demon, the Vyabhicāri bhav of Trash, in relation to the demon, not in relation to fear of Krishna's safety from the bull, arose on its own spontaneously. So you understood the connection? This was in relation to the demon. If it was in relation to Krishna, the fear, oh, what will happen to Krishna, then it would have been classified. It would have been classified as what? Please tell me, let us see. This will really be your litmus test. Vinita, yes, Mataji, Vinita Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Primary rati?
No, there is echoing happening at her end.
Would it be primary superior rati?
Yes, exactly. Very good. Very good. It is, Paratantra. And within Paratantra, it is Vara. And within that, Sakshat or Vyavahita?
Sakshat? Sakshat Prabhuji?
Sakshat, it depends whether it is Sakshat or Vyavahita. Like Bhima, is feeling angry when Shishupal is. So in relation to Shishupal, that emotions, self-deprecation is coming. So that's why the Krodharati is coming. Here, if whether it is again right now Krishna is in front or in relation to someone, so then it will change. But your answer is correct. So I hope you are able to understand. This is giving me also a lot of happiness that the devotees are able to understand this. In the case of the Brahmanas performing separate, they had at least a semblance of Rati Chaya, though they are not pure devotee. They did not have pure Rati for Krishna. They had Rati Chaya, no, because their wives had pure Rati and they are staying, in very close to the Mathura, border of Vrindavan. And please remember, they were all born during Krishna's time. So genuinely, they did not have genuine Rati, but at least they had Rachi Chaya. Thus, the example of Vyabhicāri of Nirved in verse 29 is classified as Rati Shunya, devoid of pure Rati, but not absolutely devoid of Rati. Note, in the case of inferior dependent Vyabhicāri bhav, inferior is avara, dependent is swatantra. A rati which is neither primary or secondary is the direct cause of Vyabhicāri bhav in the devotee with permanent rati. Arjuna's fear of the universal form destructive powers directly gives rise to mo. In the case of independent rati anusparshana Vyabhicāri bhav, a Vyabhicāri bhav is not related to Krishna, arises on its own due to certain circumstances, not directly through any rati in a devotee with permanent rati, because the cowherd boys have permanent rati. So it has this is how it is not related to Krishna, arises on its own due to certain circumstances, not directly through any rati. It's not correct. That Ha Krishna, they have rati for Krishna, but it's not directly coming from Krishna, not related directly. That Vyabhichari Bhav is not related to Krishna. That's the point. Okay, Prabhupada speaks about the same. Now, last one. Ata rati gandha. Yaha swatantra api tad gandham rati gandher vyanakti saha. When a Vyabhichari Bhav shows a touch of rati, even though it remains independent, yes, swatantrapi, it is called rati gandha swatantra Vyabhichari Bhav. That Vyabhichari Bhav, which shows a trace of rati, though it remains independent, is called rati gandhi. Example. Oh, my daughter Videhi, I know you are wearing that yellow cloth on the body. Pitam shukam parichinomi dhritam tvayange. Do not try to hide from me. Sangopanaya nahi naptri yatnam. Your attraction for Krishna, when Mukhara told this to Radha, iti aryaya nigitta, Radha quickly hung her head. Radha namitto tam anga and covered her face with the edge of her cloth. Ava guntita mukhi, to hide her shame. Tarasa tadasit. So she became shameful. Now, she has, rati of Madhurya Ras for Krishna. But in relation now, here, let's see Mukharas inferred Radha's longing for Krishna by her display of great passion. Since her secret had been revealed, Radha tried to conceal her shame. So, Vyabhichari Bhav, a trace of rati can be detected in Radha's action. So, from Radha's action of hiding, her head down and covering with her face with a cloth, there is a trace. Rati Gandha is indicated. Radha's great attraction for Krishna causes her transgressing the rules of dharma, which caused Mukhara to make her statement, which caused Radha shame. Thus, Radha's shame directed towards Mukhara is caused by her rati for Krishna. It is directed towards Mukhara. Is caused from where? For a rati for Krishna. The shame is independent, being directly caused by Mukhara's acquisitions. But showing a trace of rati, since Madhur Rati is the indirect cause of the incident. She has Madhur Rati. So that's why. Note, in the case of rati anusparshana, rati is the cause in a more indirect, being a general cause, because a devotee always has rati for Krishna. Okay, so that completes this discussion. Now there is Vyabhichari Abhas, which is a small discussion which we have to have. And after that, we complete this discussion. And then how Vyabhichari Bhavs, stages of appearance of Vyabhichari Bhavs is there. We will see that. And that will complete the discussion. So we will need another class for this discussion of the varieties of minds which affect the strength of Vyabhichari Bhavs. I'll just give an overview of it. We'll not go into the details of this. And also how it appears also, I'll just give an overview of it. So another one class, we will finish this discussion on Vyabhichari Bhav. and then we will begin. So tomorrow we'll have this discussion, and then we will begin with the Stahi Bhav. Hold on, Stahi Bhav is going to start. Stahi Bhav will take around 12 classes, I feel. Okay, so we'll stop here. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rup Goswami Pad ki jai. Hare Krishna.